Good morning, Mr. Riggs.
Good morning.
So let's remind people you were the nominee for the Ward 54 at the local elections for the Cape Party.
Yes, that was the 2011 municipal elections in South Africa.
And you're also a founding member of the Truth and Reconciliation Party of South Africa.
That's correct.
So now let us talk about your views on the planned Grand Prix in Sea Point and Greenpoint.
There's been a lobby group punting the concept and idea of a Grand Prix Monaco style through our environs, which will be a rally on a Saturday, from my understanding, through Beach Road and through the stadium and parts of the main road and possibly Regent Road. Nonetheless, it's in our ward. My message is as follows. I think this is good for business. Many of the people living in the area are people that have invested their time and their money and their livelihoods into Sea Point and Greenpoint or Mollie Point. There's a stadium standing vacant for a lot of the time. It was built at great expense. The benefits of the stadium are wonderful, beautiful cycling tracks, some upgrades of the pavements, and we appreciate this to an extent. My concern is that the disruption on the particular day needs to be managed. So
Yes.
it is Cape Town's tourism industry upping its game. Southern American football tourists, certain African football tourists
Yeah.
are delinquents. So the history of some of the stadiums is that some of the stadiums were in fact burned down, grandstands were broken, etc., etc. So we're talking about a completely different type of a tourist, sports tourist viewer.
Yes.
The Grand Prix, as far as I'm concerned, is a winner for Cape Town.
Yes.
Other forms of tourism that might be useful to the stadium, because we talk of the stadium as the white elephant sometimes and as a grand hospital pan, bed potty, strange looking white toilet
Yes.
in our vicinity. Construction engineers will say a different thing because they're proud of their work. This stadium needs to be used. The stadium was used before it was enlarged.
Yeah.
I stayed across the road from the stadium practically. Some Saturdays, if I had to rest, I was annoyed by the noise.
Yes.
Other times I was not annoyed by the noise because I knew that the noise would be there.
Yes.
So the stadium precinct and the surrounds of the stadium, our entire ward will benefit, even if it is a small inconvenience. Well, I believe that people that live in the flats along Beach Road,
Yes.
particularly and in other parts of Sea Point, simply have to find themselves a vantage point to see the Grand Prix. A Grand Prix, let's say in Kailami, is actually a spectacular event, and there's a lot of interest on the particular day. I've been to a couple of them. It's a kind of a sexy affair.
Yes.
It's something that I think every person should at least once in their life go and see.
Yes.
If somebody is going to bring the Grand Prix to me, for me to see,
Yes.
I'd be smiling.
That's good. Yes.
And the authorities, in other words, the City of Cape Town DA-led municipality, simply has to do their job properly and in a sense, we trust them to do that. We're
Yes.
only asking for our inconveniences to be made as small as possible, and our conveniences to be highlighted and given some thrust. Which means, on the particular day, if I feel like crossing Beach Road to go to the promenade, I want to be able to do it.
Yes.
So it's up to the City Council to find a way of that being possible.
Yes.
And I don't want to walk from Queen's Road all the way to Glengarriff Road to be able to cross Beach Road.
Yes.
Similarly, if I stayed in Mollie Point, Grange Bay, I don't want to need to walk all the way to Queen's Road to be able to cross from the park to the lighthouse over Beach Road.
Yes.
And I want to know that my vehicle is going to be permitted in the area. If I want to drive it, I want to know that my staff can come to work
Yes.
and use those terrible taxis on alternative routes. It brings me to this topic of the taxis and the vagrants.
Yes.
Please do something about these people that beg, that pretend to be car guards, that pretend to be authorities when it comes to directing traffic, that
Yes.
stink to high heaven,
Yes.
that are undesirable elements that hang around in Sea Point, particularly at the side of ShopRite Checkers, ShopRite near the Shell garage.
Yes.
Those that hang about at Arthur's Seat and then stroll down to Beach Road and
Yes.
hang about on the beachfront. These people are undesirable. I do not care what you think about loitering being unable to prosecute. Find a solution.
Yes.
We do not desire these people in our neighborhood where we have to pay rates and taxes, where we want to walk safely at night.
Yes. That's right. And I can add that they are also rude, besides being beggars and a nuisance and an undesirable element.
My city bus costs R5 from any pickup point
Yes.
in a forward direction and R5 in a return direction. The city bus, my city bus, traverses through a Sea Point.
Does
It traverses through our ward, 54. It goes to the terminal in the city, and it goes up and down to and from the city and garden centre along Long and Loop Street. So you can get off anywhere in the city practically. What I can suggest,
Yes.
however, is that if the city were to implement some program to try to manage the taxis a bit better,
Yes.
because a driver behind a taxi is a great inconvenience and a great distress.
Yes.
Being a driver behind a taxi, you're talking about the microbus taxis,
Yes.
are a complete nuisance. They hoot like nobody's business at random, calling
Yes.
their customers.
Yes.
The practice of calling customers, I think, should be outlawed, because
Yes.
it is a despicable result of Cape-coloured marketing.
Yes.
The old Cape-coloured marketing where people were walking in the streets, shouting vegetables or bananas or
Yes.
fruit or dried fruit or nuts.
Yes.
That is 300 years old.
Yes.
The door needs to be shut so the passenger is safe. Nobody needs to be hanging out the window.
Yes.
The hooligans that smoke tip sometimes when they're doing their job, because they have an irresponsible owner and irresponsible driver, need to be sorted out.
Yes. Absolutely.
It is not always so convenient to drive to be a passenger in a taxi,
Yes.
because filthy people whose boots stink and haven't washed,
Yeah.
and whose breath smells from the front to the back of the taxi, sometimes work in these taxis.
Yes.
One understands that people will use the taxi because it is convenient enough to get in anywhere where they lift their hand and say taxi.
Yes.
My proposal is that there are 2 taxi stop points on a block, in other words between a perpendicular road to the one the taxi is driving on, and only 2.
Yes.
They are marked by yellow paint,
Yes.
taxi stop. The taxi is allowed to stop there to load the passengers. He's not allowed to park there
Yes.
for more than 5 minutes.
Yes. Fair enough. Mm-hmm.
Because we will not remove the taxis from Sea Point, in
Yeah.
my view. If somebody comes up with another suggestion, we need to know so that we can go to the city council, so that we can go to the taxi association.
Yes.
But the elements within the taxis, the taxi industry, as far as my mind is availing sensibility, needs to regulate themselves. But they also need to understand that they are nuisances in the sense that they cannot stop in the middle of the road at random.
Yes.
If I'm a elderly person driving a car, a taxi hoots in front of me or beside me, I'm totally bewildered, especially if the road appears to be safe.
Yes.
So please, those traffic officials that work in Sea Point, consider the drivers, the other drivers and other users of it, please.
Yes. Absolutely. Right, thanks. Do you have anything other than that to say?
Next time I'd like to speak about Winnie Mandela and her ventures with the man of the cloth, dear Emeritus Archbishop Tutu, and their views, and the Russell Court about Israeli apartheid.
Yes.
I think that will be a wonderful hot topic to discuss and to vent some ideas and some views on, and I truly hope that it will be a stimulating topic.
Thanks very much.
Good, thank you.